Welcome back to Writing, Boys and Girls. Okay, we are still writing The Great Escape. Now, I have to tell you, if you already submitted a full story to your teacher, you have to go back and you have to rewrite it. We are not submitting a full story yet. This is a writing process. So I need you to go back and really look at those graphic organizers because a lot of them are being graded. We want to grade the thought process and we want to expand on our ideas. You are not writing a full story yet, so keep that in mind. All right, so boys and girls, The Great Escape. The Great Escape started on a farm, right? You remember it is worth 24 points by the time we are done. Okay. We read a few stories. We read about the plump and perky turkey who actually got away just by camouflaging himself in with that artwork. And then we read The Night Before Thanksgiving, where the turkeys were actually given a little bit of help to get away. I'm not even sure the turkeys realized that they were being eaten, but the kids did. And then we thought about ways the turkey could get away. And you came up with different sentences using vivid words. And we talked about some vocabulary words, what a combine is, the difference between a Mustang and a Mustang, and describing things like a sleeping hound. Now, here is an example graphic organizer, and I'm going to go over this. You will see, we did this last week. You filled in the characters, the settings, the problem, the solution, right? Now we're going to fill in the rest of this board. This one would be the beginning, okay? And then we have 3 events and then an ending. So this is going to help us organize our thoughts. And remember, we have to include the problem and solution in these events. So I'm going to give you this example, and I want you to tell me, what do you think? The turkey hears the farmer talking about killing her for Thanksgiving. What will she do? First, the turkey sneaks past the hound. Then, she hops the fence and runs past the sheep into the field. Next, she keeps running until she sees a delivery truck. She hops on and goes for a ride. Finally, the truck stops in the big city. The turkey hops off and sees a restaurant. The owner gives her a job, and she lived happily ever after. The end. Well, what do you think? Pause the video and tell someone in your house what you think of this graphic organizer and story. All right, boys and girls, welcome back. All right, so this, I have to tell you, is pretty good. And I'm so sorry if you can hear my 2 dogs eating and drinking here. This is actually pretty good. We have a clear beginning, we have sequence words, and we have an ending. All right? And even the sequence words, we have sneaks, we have hopped, and we have, let's see, running until she sees a delivery truck, something she sees. We have a finally transition word. But it's kind of remote and it's dull and it really is lacking in voice. This sounds kind of like we followed a pattern. It's well organized. The writing, however, right here with voice. The writer is clearly engaged with the story and characters. I would not give that a 4. Interested in the story? Not really. The story does not develop characters at all. It has a weak sense of writer's interest. This would be a 2. Okay? Word choice might be a 3, maybe a 2. There's really not a whole lot of vivid words. I mean, there's hopped, but if we go back to that Jack Harmon video, he used a lot of sentences that were, or words that were a lot more interesting. Sentence structure. The sentence structure is there, but there's not very many complex sentences. Conventions would get a 4. They're really good. So it's not a straight 4 paper. That is not a straight 4 paper. So let's go back and look at that. Not a whole lot of detail, not a straight 4 paper. Let's go look at what a straight 4 paper would probably look like. Here we go. Okay, so characters. We have Farmer Kyle, Sally the turkey, Maya the vegetarian restaurant owner. We have the setting would be the farm in the big city, and the problem, Sally heard the Farmer Kyle talk about having Sally for Thanksgiving dinner. And the solution, Sally had to get away from the farm and start a new life somewhere. So here's the beginning. Let's look at this. Sally is looking pretty plump. Thanksgiving is going to be delicious this year, said Farmer Kyle into the phone. I can't wait until you and Mom come to Thanksgiving Day. Sally couldn't believe her ears. There's no way he was talking about her. Or was he? All right, so boys and girls, we have a lot going on in the beginning. We are definitely catching or hooking our reader, right? We have some quotation marks. Farmer Kyle is talking. Now, Sally's not talking back to him, and that's okay because Farmer Kyle is talking in the phone. I can make a picture in my head of Farmer Kyle talking in a phone and a turkey being close by and overhearing what he says. Then we go to event 1. Sally had to get out of here. She tiptoed past the sleeping hound dog, grabbing a handful of corn on the way. She'll need a snack later. Then she scampered through the garden mums down the path toward the pasture. So boys and girls, does that sound familiar to you? Sally had to get out of here. She tiptoed past the sleeping hound dog, grabbing a handful of corn on the way. Where would I get that? I got that right here. Right here. As the turkey sneaked past the sleeping hound dog, she grabbed a handful of corn for a snack later. There was my idea. I used that graphic organizer. Okay, so then when I went to write, I used that idea in my section, in my first event. Now, notice I added on and added more detail. Event 2. Where are you going? Bleated the goat. Can't talk now, cried Sally. All right, watch. I have quotation marks around what the goat said. Oops, I'm going to put one right there. And then I have quotation marks around what Sally said. And I even used some vivid words here. Bleated the goat, because that is what we call a goat noise. Cried Sally. I can just see her running past crying, can't talk now. She hopped the fence to the sheep pasture and dashed toward the other side as fast as her skinny legs would take her. She hopped the last fence and was gone. Gone. Wow, said the sheep. Bye, Sally. Okay, so where would I have gotten that idea? Right here in my graphic organizer. The turkey dashed through the sheep pasture as fast as his skinny legs would allow, hopped to the fence, and was gone. All right, I changed the he to she. I added a little bit more detail with her running past the goat, right? So it must be the goat and sheep were together. And voila, I have my event 2. All right, let's read event 3. Sally ran as fast as she could. When she came to the side of the road, she saw a truck with a smile. It was an Amazon truck. Well, if I can hop on that truck, I'll be somewhere in only 2 days' time, Sally thought to herself. When the driver wasn't looking, she hopped on. All right, so boys and girls, let's look at our graphic organizer. She hopped on a delivery truck. Do I have anything about a delivery truck? Can I have a lift to the friendly flower man? It was a bumpy ride inside the pickup truck. That's kind of where I got the idea. So I used these two, delivery man, pickup truck, And not gonna lie, I get a lot of Amazon stuff, and I had an Amazon box sitting on my table, and I thought, an Amazon delivery truck. And that is how I came up with idea 3. So that is what you are doing today. Last Friday, you filled in the characters, the setting, the problem, and the solution. Today, you are working on the beginning, and then you are working on your 3 events. Now, boys and girls, I want you to at least write the beginning and 2 events today. This is definitely a 2-day project, okay? So I want you to have the beginning filled out and event 1 and event 2. That means you'll have all of this shown here filled out by the end of today. And then you're going to turn it in for a check-in. We just want to make sure you are keeping up. All right? And then tomorrow we will work on the rest and I'll review it again. Okay, so boys and girls, remember this is a all 4 graded graphic organizer. This is not. This is 2s, maybe some 1s, maybe a 3, but this is not an all 4 graphic organizer. That is too little of information. This is a 4 graphic organizer. This really describes the setting and the story and gives the reader some vision in their head. Okay, so you get started on that, and happy writing.